and just sort of caught the end of it. He's like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, man, I love it, you know. And it was just, so then, you know, that was just sort
You
of...
did some travelling in Sprung too as
sent
well,
us-
right? Because we
yeah.
were watching it, and there's a bit in with Peat and at Palmer's house, right in the 50s.
Well,
was
don't
that?
get confused, because that's like, actually Marchie got confused because he thought we did the video diaries, but we didn't.
Right.
That's, the video diaries are called that because they're Steve Peat's
Actually, his
video
camera,
diaries. That's him
Right.
filming, so that's why they're so intimate.
Okay.
So like Palmer's there and he comes right up to the camera, doesn't he? And then he's like riding into
Yeah.
Steve, and he's like,
Oh, so that's Steve.
he's like pumping him with the dirt bike, like, and they're just like brothers, you know, like, and that vibe came across, didn't it? And
Yeah. Oh,
and
so
the
that's
thing-
Steve
then,
filming
yeah,
that.
and quite often Steve would give the
Right.
camera to someone else because he'd be like, "Oh, film me do this," and so that's why you can see Steve riding around the house.
When was those
And-
original conversations with Steve then? Because obviously Steve's always been super creative and kind of ahead of his time.
Pete, yeah, he
So
was. He had a
Did
little.
he come up with that idea? Like, how about I have this?
No, we knew he had tapes from early on,
Right.
and then
He had the tapes.
we in Warner had them as well. You know, they both filmed themselves, didn't they? But they just didn't know what to do with them. They didn't know have an outlet.
No way.
So, and because we kind of came from that media college background, we kind of like, oh, let's segment this out and have these segments, and let's have the video diaries or Rob's World, you know, and break that down. So we owe a lot to both of them for raising the profile, you know, and giving us, like, made us feel way really legitimate in the scene, like, in a massive way,
Yeah.
you know, massive way.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of like in a timeline, you were
People
really
taking
new
us,
to it then.
people
weren't you?
taking us seriously. You think like
Yeah.
December '97, I decided to make Sprung, and you know, by when was Bike Show, like March '98,
Yeah,
something like that, and then by the end of like September or early October '98, we had Sprung 2 already.
yeah.
So in less than a year, we were like part of the mountain bike scene. Like, we could call up anyone in the
Did
UK.
you feel a responsibility as far as like, 'cause from my
No.
you were no, but you were like carving
Don't get all the
out.
questions.
No,
Yeah.
you were like carving out what was cool. Like, you looked at that, you looked at Dirt, and you looked at Sprung, and like, right, that's the direction. Like you said, it gave you an identity. It gave you like the music to listen to, gave you the clothes to
Yeah.
wear. Were you like aware that was happening?
Music, you must have been, dude. You must have been.
No, we just wanted to make the next video better. Each one wanted to make it better. That's all we cared about. And then in terms of like comparing ourselves, like a lot of people, you could answer that yourself, do you think you're better than other videos or whatever? It's always like a comparing, which that question was really well worded. But we just wanted to be different. Yeah, like, so every single mountain bike video always had like metal, you know, and a lot, it was like 99% metal, you know, because that's what they thought mountain bikers wanted.
Yeah.
We didn't care what people wanted.
Yeah.
Like
You
with
liked
Sprung,
this.
we kind of like wanted that vibe, but also in the caveat that we needed to get the music for free.
Yeah.
So we didn't just go out and use. So like all the
Pays to be indie sort of.
all the music on Sprung was legit, you know, and we just spent hours like phoning around like music contacts
Wow.
and like getting people we knew to help us do that. So, and like just calling in favour after favour, and you know, and that didn't really stop until Sprung 5. We were just like always just favour after favour to try and get like whatever we could. And of course we were following, or I was following what we knew and what we liked, you know, which is kind of where we were putting all these things in that were kind of cool, but they still weren't like the pinnacle of what we were listening to.
Right.
But it was sort of like had that vibe, you know.
Yeah.
And then like, so, you know, there's stuff got through that we don't sit around and listen to, you know what I mean? But it was good for Sprung. It was kind of like, so, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it was a struggle, that's for sure. And like Sprung 3, we're still sleeping on floors, you know, and like after Sprung 2, we sold like 1,000, and I printed another 1,000 for the next Bike Show 99. And, you know, it wasn't like we were selling thousands and thousands of videos, really. You know what I mean? We were just like, I had enough to order another print run. You know what I mean? So that was 2,000 videos we sold at Sprung 2 initially. Went to Bike 99. I had a deal with one of our favourite customers who gave us like £9 a video or something like that, or it might have been a bit more. You know, and we sold quite a lot of Sprung 2 at Bike 99. I remember going back, like, how many you sold? He's like, go and get another box, you know, go and get some more boxes. I'm like, you know? And then we spent all that money going to LA with Peat,
Right.
So
you know, for Sprung 3, yeah. So it was kind of like just constantly reinvesting. And then because I was like 23, I just loved it because I was just getting to travel.
Yeah.
You know, 22, 23, I was just like, that's all that motivated me, going to the next thing and going to that. You know, so Sprung 2, we did go, I remember phoning up Animal and saying, oh, I'm doing this thing, have you got any opportunities? And the guy there, he's like, yeah, you can, if you get down to Andover, you can jump in the bus with the team and go to Switzerland and Czech Republic for 2 weeks. I'm like, okay. Phoned up Milan, I said, right, get there. And we literally just had whatever petrol we had in the car, got to because we had no money, you know, and we got to the Animal truck and we were in it, you know, we were like in this thing that we'd seen in the magazines with like Tim Ponting, Robin Kitchens, Andy Bostock, and we're like, this is fine, you know, let's just roll with this. And then like the next day we were snowboarding on a glacier in Switzerland. Milan turns around to me on the lift up, you know, on the button lift, just before I fell off the button lift, because I'd never snowboarded before. He's like, this cost us £2.50. So that's all we'd spent on food to that point, you know. And I like laughed and fell off the lift and he went off. And I think it took me like half an hour to actually get to the top of the mountain. And I finally got to the top. I went about 10 metres and winded myself at 3,000 metres. Couldn't breathe at the top of the thing. I'm not sure about snowboarding. And Milan's like, get your camera, I'll go and film it. I'm like, and it was all funny little adventures like that, from one thing to the next, you know. And then he couldn't go to Czech Republic because he didn't have a visa because he's from Serbia. So I ended up on my own in Czech Republic filming that European Championships. And I met people like Steve Jones in the bar, you know, after. And I remember being like in the strip club or whatever, in the nightclub with Rob Warner, being a mischievous little bugger, and ends up like this big fight kicks off. And like I'm then like face to face with the bouncers just to punch Sarah Jorgensen in the face. I'm like, you can't punch a girl, mate. And he's like, oh, I'll punch you instead then. I remember getting like punched in the head. Oh, no. And I had like this VX 9000 back in my backpack, in my Animal backpack, my brand new Animal backpack. I stuffed like this massive camera in the backpack, and I'm like, turn my back on the bouncer and he's like punching my camera. I'm like, don't punch the camera. And I turn around so I could take the punch on my face instead of punching the camera. And then I run out through, because I was in the nightclub bit, which was connected to the strip club. And I ran through the strip club over the podium where the dancers were in the video. Like, all right, love. Like that. This girl just like half naked. And like all the Irish were in there watching, enjoying the show. And then all of a sudden I come through, backpack on, over the podium, and they're all just like, yeah! Like that. That's all I could hear. Like this huge cheer of these bouncers chasing me. And they didn't make it out of the club, the bouncers. They all got bounced on by the Irish.
No.
Huge crap. And then I'm just like outside going, oh my God, oh my God. And then, like, people out there just enjoying their evening, like, you all right? I'm like, oh, there's a massive fight, a massive fight. Like that. I think I'm going back like that. I remember just walking back by myself to where we were staying, and then the next day at breakfast I was like, oh my God. The police came, shots were fired.
No
like that. I remember Jason Carpenter telling me, he said he was running from the police as they were shooting at him, and he was running like that.
What, zigzagging? He's watched a tutorial.
Can you imagine hearing that? Like, you know, after,
the camera made it though.
Camera seemed to be, the microphone was a little bit off. But yeah, audio still worked.
All right.
And,
so that's Sprung 3.
that was
still
Sprung
on
2.
floors
That was Sprung 2.
Sprung 2.
That was Sprung 2. That one. And then yeah, so I can't remember what else was in Sprung 2. There was sort of like, it ended with Peaty's house, didn't it? His like,
Yeah.
there's a session with him. That's still a favourite. That had like a tune from a guy that lived in the village where I lived. And it was a band called the Swindonians, and he was. I used to work with his dad at the local garage where I used to clean cars, and his dad was in the parts department, and his son was in this band called the Swindonians, Julian Sanger, and he wrote the song himself, and he got it played on John Peel and stuff. And
Wow.
yeah,
You'll probably help in the music industry too. But it's hard to track, isn't it?
I think
like
that,
now
yeah.
you could see streams. You'd be like, okay, like what Danny Mac did for
100%.
I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of that band. Band of Horses,
yeah.
Like, so they saw that.
It's
They
not
were
nothing.
like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like it's blown. But
Yeah.
no one.
I think we had like a few things like came back to us in the long term, and
Yeah.
I think we had like a Smooth.
I got that album.
Yeah, he's still
Can't
going,
remember.
and like he was like on Instagram the other day, like people were tagging him in it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember this." And
Wow.
so
Mark being Blade, I thought. I was like,
that
because you got them before they blew up,
yeah,
and then they blew up, and I was like, I always used to think it must have had some impact, because it was like everyone I knew was wearing out their VHS and buying Mark being Blade music, and I was just like, it couldn't have not had an impact.
yeah.
Like village biking people.
Yeah.
Like blowing up this hip hop artist, but still, that's.
Do you ever meet him? Are you friends with
Never
him?
met him.
You never
No,
met
I
him?
spoke to him on the phone, and
Yeah,
it was just like, yeah, whatever, mate.
No, wicked,
I like BMX. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like BMX. yeah, we got BMX in there.
Tighter clothes, brighter colours.
I played that one a couple of times, just like with people sort of like, because mountain biking just wasn't cool, you know,
Yeah.
compared to.
Why not, do you think?
Did you enjoy this clip? If so, please like and subscribe. The full episode is available by hitting one of the links on the screen right now, or type The Ride Companion into your favourite podcast app. We've even put links in the show description for you. Cheers!